Yo, what's going on guys? Rackles here. Welcome back to another Quake video. So today I am approximately 4,000 experience away from network level 250. So I should pretty much be getting it either after this game or within like the next 2 to 3 games easily, because I haven't done any of my Quake quests today, or any quests for that matter. I haven't actually been on all day. I literally just hopped on and I kind of wanted to warm up before recording this, but of course I'm so close to getting it that I'm pretty sure I will literally hit it if I try to warm up at all beforehand. I do recognize that, you know, network level 250 these days is kind of an oversaturated thing, like pretty much everyone and their mother has it, but honestly I still didn't have it because I had never really been into questing until basically recently. I've been questing quite a lot over these past couple weeks since I've been so close to it, but I had never quested before, so it was actually pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. I always thought questing was kind of stupid, but I have actually been enjoying it these past few weeks. And like I said, I know a lot of people obviously have it nowadays, but if you take into account the fact that I've actually never used a single network booster, I'm sure the amount of people who have done it without network boosters probably jumps down at least a decent amount. Obviously I'm sure a lot of people have still done it with no boosters, but I would assume it would be like at least twice as much that have done it only by boosters basically, because I mean you can just drop a couple $100 and get it in within a day. Oh, there it is. Let's go. All it took was one game. Awesome. Alright, so I have one unclaimed leveling reward. Let's go to veteran rewards, and the final level reward that I'll ever get, basically, the Black Plus. And one 4x personal coin booster. Aw yeah. There it is. I actually didn't really like the look of Black Plus until quite recently, mostly just because I think it looks kind of weird with like the MVP Plus Aqua. But with the MVP Plus Gold, I do think that it looks a lot nicer, so let's see. There it is, Black Plus. Took me like 8 years to get here, but here we are, baby. I'm finally gonna get called a sweat in every lobby I go into. I can't wait. Obviously hitting network level 250 would be way too short of a video to just put by itself. It was literally only one game, so I'll be talking about sort of like my Hypixel history in a way. My first log on to Hypixel was in October 23rd of 2013, which is actually just a few months after Hypixel initially released. But of course, not long after that I was banned. And if you want to know why, then you should check out my previous video that I uploaded, which covers all of my bans, because obviously I won't be telling the story again in this video, and it's quite extensive. Although I initially logged on in 2013, I didn't get an actual chance to play anything until a few years later when I got into SkyWars. I kind of look fondly back on this time. I was so bad at the game back then. It was insane. I was the kind of player who would bridge with a wall on both sides, or more often than bridging with like a tunnel bridge, I would make sure to always place down a water bucket before I bridge, so that in case I got snowballed off or whatever, I could be able to swim back up through my water stream. I literally water streamed every single time I bridged, and looking back on that, it's so funny because it's exactly the kind of thing that I make fun of nowadays. So never forget your roots. We were all a noob at some point. Back then, other than SkyWars, I didn't really play much. These days, all of the server's most popular games, like Skyblock, Bed Wars, Murder Mystery, etc., hadn't been released yet, so there wasn't as much choice. Honestly, like, the only other game modes that feel notable to me back then were, I remember playing some party games back when they were split into party games 1, 2, and 3 instead of all being merged together, and I also have distinct memories of playing Crazy Walls doubles with my IRL friend Carson. Although looking at my stats, I guess we couldn't have played too much, but I don't know why, I just specifically remember playing with him for some reason. As the years went on, SkyWars remained my quote-unquote main game. The reason I put quotation marks around that is because it wasn't necessarily like my main, as in I was grinding it or playing it a ton. It just happened to be the game that I played the most. I always sort of liked to just play a variety of games and was never really into grinding anything back then, probably because I was so bad. And that's not to mention that at this point, Hypixel wasn't even my primary server that I played on. Fast forward a couple years, the prototype lobby comes out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the 3 games the prototype lobby launched with were Bed Wars, Survival Dash, and UHC Deathmatch? Now, if you've ever bothered to check my stats on Plank, you'd notice that I'm not a particularly high Bed Wars star. By the time most players are network level 250 and are involved with PvP, then they'll probably have at least about 100 stars. And one of the reasons that I'm a really low star is because I played a ton while it was a prototype game. Seriously, I played so much Bed Wars prototype version back when there was sandstone, default started with a wooden pick instead of the wooden sword, and that I sort of burnt myself out around the time that it was released. And of course, since it was a prototype game, none of the stats actually saved or carried over. I don't even remember stars really being a thing back when it was a prototype game, but I might be wrong there. So because of this, for the next couple of years, I think it's probably safe to say that I played more Bed Wars as a prototype game than an actual, release game. Not to mention that over the years, it's gotten, significantly harder to play. In general, everybody's gotten better at the game, and since I don't play often, I don't really know the strats or the meta, and I'm not sure who to dodge and who to stay on and that sort of stuff, so I haven't played much solos at all since then. However, in the past couple years, I have been playing a fair decent amount of 4s with a couple of friends. I do want to get to 100 star. It'll probably be a goal for me by the end of the year, and at the time of recording this, I'm 79, so it shouldn't be too hard of a task. And speaking of goals, I also want to hit 15 star in SkyWars by the end of the year. At the time of recording this, I'm almost about 14 stars, so that one should be pretty easy. But again, I think a lot of my kills were way back in the day before the star system was even introduced to SkyWars. When they first introduced the system, I want to say I started as maybe an 11 star. That's probably wrong and I have no idea how to check it, but I really don't think I've gone up many levels at all since then, until more recently, since I've been questing a lot to get to network level 250. Speaking of questing, that was something that I pretty much never did at all up until the past few months. Even though I've spent a ton of time on Hypixel, probably way more than I should have, I didn't hit network level 100 until May 26, 2019. And the only reason I know that is because I made a tweet about it. I wish there was some sort of website or tool where you could see which date you hit each level. I think that would be super cool to look at, so if there is something like that, please let me know. I want to say I hit network level 200 somewhere in the time where a triple XP was active last year. Triple XP lasted for a few months, I don't know the exact dates, but basically it was supposed to just last for a weekend, but then because everyone was stuck inside for COVID, Simon, the owner of Hypixel, decided to let it play out for quite a bit longer. And I somewhat took advantage of that. I definitely tried out questing, but I didn't really like it or get it because I was sort of trying to do everything. I was out there playing stuff I had no experience with, like Smash Heroes and Arena Brawl, and they're not games that I actually enjoy at all. So it kind of ruined the experience for me, and I quickly gave up on trying to try hard questing. Of course, because of triple XP, I leveled up quickly during that time anyway. But then starting about a month ago or two, I realized that since I was getting really close to network level 250, I would try to pick it up again. And this time it was way more successful. I pretty much quested every single day for a few weeks there in between network level 240 to 250. But this time I focused on easy ones / ones that I actually enjoyed doing, so I wouldn't burn myself out like crazy. You look at a quest and it's only 3000 XP, but if you do just a handful of them every day, that adds up pretty quickly. So if you aren't doing any questing or would like to try it, then I'd recommend just sort of playing all the games, make sure you've played them all once, and then determine which quests are easy and which ones you'd like to do, because I actually had a pretty pleasant experience doing it. Every day I did my SkyWars quests, all of the TNT quests, duels, and build battle. I did all guess the build for that, since that's my favorite build battle mode, and then on occasion I would do the pit or another random game. Oh, and of course Quakecraft. In February, my quest count for the month was 444, which is the highest it's ever been, and then so far this month it's 405, which I think would have been way higher than 444, but I haven't quested at all basically for the past couple weeks since I hit 250. You know, it's funny, I'll put it on screen now. I'm looking at this website called Notify to see these stats about my quests and whatnot. As you can see, it really was like next to nothing for years, and that's because I actually didn't have MVP Plus until the very end of 2019. Actually, I just noticed I got it exactly on the 6th anniversary of my first log on to Hypixel. But the reason the MVP Plus is significant to quests is because you have to have that rank in order to activate auto questing, which means that they just, automatically enable every time you go into a lobby. It'll turn them on for you, so you don't have to think about it. I just instantly started getting passive quests, and you can see right here, November is like my highest quest count by far because it was passively activating and I was getting them just for playing random stuff without really trying. And then of course all the years prior, often I wouldn't activate a single quest at all for the month because it never really just came to my mind. And you know, sometimes I'd activate a few, more often than not I just wouldn't bother at all. And then over that hump over to the right you can see where it was triple XP, so it was a little bit higher, and then it dips back down after I kind of gave up on questing, and then shoots way back up again when I get closer and closer to level 250. I think that's sort of a fun little graph to look at, and again I wish there was a similar sort of graph for level. I think that would be super fun to see how slow or how fast I managed to obtain each level. I really would like to know what that graph would look like. But that's going to be it for this video, I think. Since I just brought up the topic of MVP+, I was considering talking about my rank history, but I think I'm going to save that for another video because I went through each individual rank. VIP, VIP+, MVP, MVP+, and then plus plus of course. And each of them has a story behind them. So I think I'll save that for a future commentary since it's pretty interesting and would make this video way longer than it really should be. I've been rambling so much. The raw recording of this audio clip is 20 minutes. Who knows how long it'll actually end up being. But thank you guys for watching, and also thank you for both 3K and I think 3.5K I'm about to hit as I'm recording this. I came back to YouTube fully expecting it to kill my channel, but it turned into kind of the opposite. To all of you guys who have stuck around with me through that time period where I basically wasn't uploading for months at a time, and to all of those who are new now, thank you guys very much. I do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to be back. I've been trying to do weekly uploading, and I apologize for missing last week's upload. The reason for that is because I was spending all of my time making a parkour housing. Why? I don't know, I just kind of felt like it. That's gonna be it for this. Of course, as I mentioned at the start, be sure to check out my band history video because I actually do think that's a lot more interesting than anything I spoke about in this video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Rackles, and goodbye.